one half of Real AF TV. I'm the nerd, the geek, whatever you want to say.
And I'm Tim Wagner, the other half of Real AF TV.
Hopefully that worked.
Yeah.
How's it going, friends and family of the internet? We are coming live to you. We went down to Crosse, Wisconsin. I don't know where Lake Ross is, but we're down here at the B.A.S.S Master.
The Lock Rolls.
And so this is going to be different. This is definitely going to be different. Going to be a special episode for sure, Tim, but we made it. We made it to a pro event, dude.
Made it to a pro event. Also, I think this is our second time recording in the same room.
It is. I know.
Yeah.
What a weird, not a weird, but like a cool reason to be recording in the same place at the same time.
Yep.
Okay. All right, man. I was just checking in. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to be like, whoa, look at that setup. Yeah. We're using the hotel room for sure to make this work out.
Yeah.
We came down to La Crosse. It was stormy as all hell on the drive down.
Right.
Like we got caught in some cars pulling over situation downpour.
Yeah. We took some back roads, so I think we were getting rained on, but didn't have the same downpour as you, so didn't get stuck underneath the bridges.
Yeah.
And we had some different ideas on how to maybe make this recording work, and some of them were like the rivers literally were on the river in the hotel here, and thought maybe out there, but it's been raining the whole time.
Yeah. And that's messed up the B.A.S.S Master too. Like all the anglers out there, right?
Yeah.
Because Hank said this morning, because we went live. So just complete transparency. We're recording this Sunday. We're not gonna, we're not hanging around for the whole thing. We came down for just the kind of 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
And Hank, before he took off this morning, said something about like he had a plan, or like he felt good about going in today.
Yeah.
And you said something, and I asked. I was like,
yeah.
Why?
Well, I think he likes the weather today because he said the weather's right, because I think it's like consistency. Like having overcast and some rain and stuff is normally like it's pretty good fishing on a day like today. It's not, bright sunshine and a cold front can suck when we got like kind of consistent weather. But I think yesterday kind of threw things off because the day before was like relatively nice, no storms.
Right.
And then the kind of crappier weather comes through, so it changes things up. So yesterday I think was kind of a transitioning period, and today is kind of like things should be as they were yesterday. Like
go out there and like now you have a technique, because almost like yesterday was a practice day in a way. Like I'm not saying that exactly, but like in a way, right?
Yeah, it's like you have to adapt. Like me, I was telling you about it too. Me and my nephew were out there fishing, and what happened then happened yesterday too, where in the morning it was like dense fog, crazy clouds and stuff, real weird. And we were catching them on the top water, and then that cloud cover and fog went away, and we had bright sunshine, no clouds. It was like 2 different days in one.
You're right.
And that bite just shut off. And I think that's what happened to a lot of anglers yesterday. We were at the weigh-ins, and there was dudes coming in that only had like 2 keepers all day, and it's probably a thing of like where what they had going on was working, and then the day switched, or they couldn't figure it out when it was before sunshine, and then the sunshine came out, and then they were able to do whatever. I don't know what the thing was, but that changing weather can really throw things off, especially on a river. There's so many variables.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So,
well, that was the other thing that surprised me. It's like it's sweet, like La Crosse, right on the river, right on the Mississippi River. In case anybody wasn't watching bass and wasn't following up, so this is La Crosse. Like we're on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin, so we were like, yeah, we're coming. We're from Minnesota. We're coming down.
Yep.
And so we came down to La Crosse, and like it's crazy because the different sides of it, the Minnesota side, the Wisconsin side, like the big rocks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And all of the different, just driving in. That's why I'm saying the sides of the border. Driving in, there's swamp. There's lake, and even then there's the dams, the river, the moving water and stuff like that. You can see it all on the ride in through from the Minnesota side into La Crosse.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different options here.
Yeah.
Like, because then people were coming up on stage and they'd pull out one large and one smallmouth, and it was so fucking cool to see both of them.
And those are their 2 big fish.
Right.
Like their 2 big fish that they're showing to everybody is one of each species.
Yeah.
And it's definitely cool to see and watch right now too. When you're watching them out there,
Yeah.
like you get to watch everybody doing everything. You know.
Oh.
When last week when they were in North Dakota,
Yep.
everybody's drop shotting. You know.
Oh.
Or they're doing the Mickey rig, which is basically just a jig in a plastic.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah. And
That's
then
funny, that one.
and they're just out there and they're all kind of fishing the open water in the same spot. There's like one guy fishing shallow, and everybody was like, if you fish shallow, you're only gonna catch small fish. And they're like, and that's basically what happened. He's the one guy that fished shallow and he only caught small fish. You know, so but then they go out there today and I forget who I wanna now I'm forgetting names right now. I'm blanking. I was just watching it, but I'm not pulling up who was who right now, but I saw somebody fishing the reeds with a walking the dog bait. So you're fishing almost like a lake would be. You know, obviously you have these spots on rivers and it's like a widening in the river, so there's kind of a lake, but you see people that are fishing out deep in the open water. There's guys fishing right along the lock and dam. There's people fishing underneath the bridge pylons.
Oh yeah.
There's people out there jigging. One of the dudes is out there. It looked like he was casting a chatterbait along like what looked to be almost like a moss type weed.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of like fishing underneath matted stuff. So it's like this fishery almost lets the anglers do whatever they want to do. You know?
If they have a specialty,
yeah,
cool. I'm going to the Mississippi tournament and I'm doing what I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool. A lot of people were saying a lot of people come up on stage, you know, they do their thing and blah, blah, blah. Mike was super funny. We got to see Mike Iaconelli.
Yep.
He was super funny. He just gets up there, B.A.S University, promoting his kids.
Oh, just promoting everybody.
The whole time.
Just go check out my son, the Hammer, you know, and shout out to Mike. And the B.A.S University is an awesome place. Everybody's still learning. The pros are using that. It's, you know, we're not a sponsor, but I am a member. If you're trying to learn, it's awesome. You get to hear the pros talk about how they fish and stuff. And then his son is on Instagram out there, and they're always like building tiny boats and stuff. He's got a tiny boat. His son's got a tiny boat with like a crazy like electric motor. It's
really?
not a trolling motor. It's like a 5-horse.
Just electric motor, almost like a Power Wheel motor.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. Yeah,
that's crazy, dude. But yeah, he was really funny. It was funny. It was fun to watch him up on stage. Which by the way, Instagram, social, like go to realaf.tv, right, and all our social links are there, and follow us because we got some photos. We're gonna be putting them up here.
Yep.
To follow up with the podcast. Of course, again, we're recording on Sunday. Before the Monday, we're not gonna be here. Like we could only do the whole weekend.
Whoops.
You know. We got lives. We got kids down in the pool right now.
That's right. Yep. When we're done recording, it's time to go to the pool.
It's time to go swimming. That's right. We're transparent on this podcast. We don't care.
And just another thing. Yeah. This is kind of random, but go to Mike Iaconelli's Instagram as well. And if you look on there, he has like what do they call that? The fish thing where he puts the fish picks up.
Oh, it's Friday? Like the Fish Head Friday thing?
Fish Head Friday? Yeah. You go on his Instagram and you scroll through. Both of us.
Yeah, we've
are
both
in a couple of his posts. So if you scroll through his stuff, we're up on there too. So
yeah, it's cool the way he does that. Like it's promotes
super
his
cool.
Community.
Yeah. So he promotes everybody. I mean, he never gave us a shout out. I gave you a shout out, Mike.
You could have been on stage and you could have said no.
You're missing out on at least 30 people.
Probably. So no, back to the actual experience. Like, so we came down here, right, and we got food. We were like watching it on our phones, trying to get it on FSN, and the storms are blowing out the.
Oh right, yeah.
The storms are blowing out the
signal.
satellite.
Yeah,
the satellite dish
signal.
At the restaurant,
Yep.
and finally cleared up for us though. Like we ate lunch and we went down. And it's fucking cool, dude. It's at the Northwoods Baseball League, which, shout out to the old Mallards. This is Northwoods. It just hit me right now. This is Northwoods. This is the Madison team.
Oh.
Just in the middle of the state.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, you got them up in St. Cloud. We've been to a Rocks game before. That's Northwoods.
Yep.
So, the B.A.S. Master, like the event, the weigh-in, everything. It's at the Northwoods, the Lacrosse Loggers.
Yes, the loggers. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, the loggers. And one of the competitors in the B.A.S.S Masters was a former logger, but he's from Georgia. We heard that this morning at the launch. That was like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, he must have came up here to go to school and then just played or something.
Or if you're minor league, I don't know if they just send you wherever. Sometimes the different states have different stuff like that, where like our minor league team is in Vegas.
Oh yeah, these are usually like really good college kids, so he probably went to like
for sure, yeah.
But either way, yeah, that was cool. All of a sudden, he's taking off in the morning, right? And,
yeah.
And they go, "And former lacrosse logger," and then he drives away in his boat, and you're just like,
"Yep."
Both of us just kind of looked at each other like, "Oh shit, he gets to weigh in his old stadium where he used to play ball."
Right, exactly. Yeah, he gets to, and I was looking at Josh too, thinking, just kind of like, he played ball here, but he's from Georgia. Like that's a little bit crazy, but also maybe should let you guys in on a little bit because we've never experienced this. I've watched B.A.S.S Masters plenty of times on TV, and I've never seen the launch before. Mm-hmm. They sing the national anthem at the launch, and then they have people go and they talk to the lineup, and then they announce them as they're taking off, like it's a regular sports event. Like I had no idea.
Yeah. No, I've never seen launch like that. Because every time I turn on live, they're just already there's wet lines already.
Yeah.
Like every time I turn on live, wet lines. But this was cool.
It's super cool.
They're all sitting around. Like Tim pointed out, they're 6 inches, 9 inches from each other in these $100,000 plus boats. Mm-hmm. Just anchored down. Just power poled into the ground.
The power pole just holds them there and nobody moves. They just right next to each other.
Right next to each other. Just
it's awesome.
Crammed up.
It looks so cool. They could just like, if somebody wanted to, you just like, I gotta go talk to Hank, and then just like
run across boats.
All the boats.
They were that close. Like, it was crazy to see. It looked packed in there.
It looked really cool. It was like a little city. It was almost like how the marinas have all the boats packed in there, except for they're just all chilling on their own power, like power pulled down. Yeah, it was super cool.
It was really cool.
And I had no idea that they launched everybody like that. So if anybody's ever thinking about like, why should I come? Like, there's stuff you get to see that you don't know. And like we didn't know. I always assumed that it was all the people. Like in my mind, it would have been super cool to see what I had envisioned too. That at 7 o'clock it was like, go! Oh, and then everybody just and they take off. But they announce half of the people, and then the other people sat like what 20, 25 minutes before
half
they
hour.
Go. It wasn't a full half hour.
Yeah, because I remember I was watching the clock and it was like, oh, must be 15 minutes in between them. And then he said, we're 6 minutes away from, and he started walking up the dock, and I looked and it was 7:24, so at 7:30, so it was a full half hour between the 7 o'clock launch and then the second group went out half hour later.
That's nuts. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then they pull them all up because we saw Mike Iaconelli backing his boat in.
Yeah, him and his whole team were launching. And
I said his whole name, like, to make sure people knew who I was talking about. We just fucking talked about him for 5 minutes. I don't.
It's all right.
But we see him backing in. By the way, his wife backed his truck in. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I have a picture, and, like, when I pulled it back up to show my wife, I was like, oh, that's his wife driving.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool that she's, like,
yeah, because I noticed when she was pulling it around out, and I was like, oh,
my wife doesn't want to drive the truck with a trailer in a straight line. She's going to back it in for him. That's pretty dope.
She launched, she was full on, launched him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he launched, and it was like 6:52, and I'm like, oh, damn, that's pro right there. You're launching, and you go at 7. You got 8 minutes, and then he didn't leave till 7:30.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, he knows things we don't know.
Right. But it was really cool too because those people who launched at like 6:55, right? We saw more than 5 boats at launching right at 7.
Yeah.
And then they're cruising up to the launch area because they had launched a little bit down the river, and national anthem goes off, and they all get up, stand up, take off their hats, and they're just like putting down the river.
Yep.
Just
but they're just standing on their trolling motor.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That was awesome. Yep. And we were right there underneath that bridge and watching everybody, and then some homeless guys behind us were like, "You want a brewski?" Just
had a case of Natty Ice. We're like,
yeah,
it's only 8:30. We're cool.
Yeah, and we're like, if if it was like a pro or somebody along, like watching fishing with us that offered us a beer, I'd be like, yeah, dude. But a homeless guy under a bridge, no, because then I feel obligated to sit there and talk to you, and I'm not going to.
Right, exactly.
And we
and if something other than Natty Ice, I mean, I'm not trying to wreck my day, you know. I'm trying to
who
just
even
like
knows
hang
what
out.
he had? Just
Oh, there could have been something else inside of there.
yeah, you go to pop it and it's flat. He's like, I didn't do nothing to it. Why is it flat already? It wasn't open already. I didn't do anything to it. I don't believe you. But we were walking past, and he offered us the beer, and we were like, no, we got to keep going. And he was just like, oh, come on, man, hang out. And then luckily we actually had stuff to do, so then I could just be like, I got to go watch people fish.
Yep.
And then they laughed to themselves, probably talking about what losers we were.
Oh, they're here to just watch those people on the boats. That's weird.
You're just going to watch people fish? God dang. Maybe try to do something with your lives.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring it back to the event. Or, I don't know. Is it the event? I'm going to just call it the event because we went down to the field. We just walked in and like we were in the beer garden, the beer food garden. And it was like, whoa, sweet. Let's get a beer and walk.
Yeah.
And there's all these exhibits. Like Yamaha had one, like a big one. Who was that? Was that Yamaha right in the beginning when we walked in? They had
that was all the
huge
Yamaha,
booth.
that big old motor.
So that was cool to hear one of the pros, and I forgot to take notes. There's just a lot going on with the kids running around and stuff too. But so I forgot to take notes on names. But one of the pros, one of the Yamaha pros, he just goes, I'm not going to make the cut, so I'll see you at the booth tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, some of those guys, like, they plan on staying down here the whole time. I forgot his name, too, but it was at the weigh-ins on Saturday, did not make the cut, and then just goes, well, I'm going to be over at the booth. Come check us out. And just, like, I didn't know that's how that works. Some of the dudes were just, like, not going to make the cut, going to start driving back. I mean, one dude... He's got a baby on the way.
Right.
So that one was like, and he wasn't sure. He's like, I'm on the cusp. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm going to start driving.
Hopefully I get turned around.
Yeah, he's like, hopefully they call me and they tell me I got to turn around. But if not, I'm on my way to be a daddy. You know? And it's
right.
You're that's like, a good reason. But everybody else is like, yeah, dude. I mean, because I would assume that some of those guys, like, that's how they're getting paid, you know? Because tournament winnings alone are not going to get you that boat.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
those are these are like we're looking at $100,000 boats when you add in everything that they have on there. Like, these boats are like $100,000,
and then the truck and the trailer and everything.
Yeah,
like, we kind of talked about how this is
as
a hobby, it can get out of control.
Have you thought about that?
What's that?
And like the total price of some of that stuff. I literally just thought about that now. They cut it down to 47 boats today.
Right.
So if you're talking about a money perspective, they cut it down to $470,000 worth of boats in the water yesterday.
Right. Makes it it just makes your mind go, oh, there's a lot of money in town right now, and not like a lot of value in.
Right.
It's not a lot of money because I mean, we know there's pros staying in the same hotel we are, and we ain't big balling by any means.
Right, no.
But you make a really good point though, because the guy was it Austin Felix, right? Just won in South Dakota, the one before this.
Staying in our hotel?
No, he won, right? He won in South Dakota. Either way. I can't remember his name, and it's because I'm on the spot. It's because the cameras and lights are on.
I know, that's why.
Because as soon as we leave this and we go swimming, I'm going to be like, yeah, it was him.
That's what I was thinking about this morning when I was talking about like who was fishing where. I have all their boats. I can see who they are. I can see the back of their shirt. Like, I can see everything.
Right.
Names I cannot pull up right now.
I know.
These lights are just like... Because it's pretty much like live, too. There's no editing here.
Yeah, no, this one, we could be live on YouTube right now. I told Tim before we started rolling, we could just go live on this one because of render time and because of the fact that, you know, this upload, we have to drive home, all this stuff. I was like, we got to go. Yeah. We go live to tape usually, but we take a break.
Right, it's not like we do a lot of editing, but every once in a while, there's like a moment where, like, we got to pause. Well, also, the wives have the kids, so that's some of it.
Right.
Where all of a sudden we'll just stop and... hold on, pause it. I gotta go.
Right. Yeah, when we're recording in the studios.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, back on track with the
Yes.
Okay, so the guy who won the
Yep.
last one before this, when they were over in South Dakota,
Yeah.
he's from Eden Prairie, so I'm from that area.
Yeah.
He won $100,000. Good
Yeah.
for him. I can tell you, $100,000 salary is not gonna get you much in Eden Prairie.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm sure his wife works and all that stuff too. But I can tell you, one person's $100,000. Like, okay, good, he got his salary, but like that's base salary for Eden Prairie.
Yeah, if you were saying like that's your whole money for the year, and you're talking that you have to provide for your family, and then get
Right.
that boat and the
Right,
and the,
right. That's
and
what I'm
the
saying.
truck
Mhm.
and the gas and the housing. Like I'm sure somebody's putting them up in these hotel rooms,
Right.
and all that different stuff. But the sponsors are
Yeah.
who makes all this possible. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's quite a bit of those guys. Like,
Right.
you know, they
Well, it's
understand.
just
They understand that fishing is not a guarantee.
Right.
You know, these
Right.
companies are like,
Yep.
you go out there,
The
you
fishing
do
is
as
their
good as you
bonus.
can. Yeah. You made, well, I'm saying like the Yamaha and stuff, like
Oh.
they know that fishing is not a guarantee. So they're like, go out there, do your thing. We know you're talented. We know you won tournaments to get to this point. You don't just get to sign up to be a Bass Master Elite Series fisherman.
Right.
You have to make it to
prove
this
yourself.
point.
Yeah.
So once you've made it to that point, they're like, do your best. You know, you get eliminated on day 2, then come over to the booth
Right.
and
Yeah.
work the booth. It's
Yeah,
fine.
and,
you know?
and back to the booths with that is they were so nice. Like it was outside, it was rainy, like early in the morning when we got there. It wasn't anymore. We had a beautiful day out on the field, just
Yeah.
walking around. It was we couldn't ask for better weather, really. But they were all prepared for the weather, and it was super clean. Everybody had really cool people working the booth. Like it was super fun to be on the field talking to these people with with their products. Like, yeah, I know you're here to market, but like I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Like, you had a good time at the Bass, again, not sponsored, right? None of this is sponsored. We're just telling about our experience at Bass, hoping that when one comes your way, guys, they're out there listening, that you go.
Yes, for sure. Yes, it's cool.
But you had a good experience at the Bass U booth.
The Bass U booth, yeah, I chatted to that guy and got a free hat. They were giving out free hats if you sign up for the free trial membership. Then they give you a free hat. Like there's cool stuff. We got stickers and bags. Like I got a Mercury bag and some Aftco stickers and stuff. So like it's cool giveaways, and they're all talking about their products and stuff. And then I had a good time at the Garmin booth too, because I walked in there and I just started looking at the stuff, and the dude comes over and he's just like, you got any questions? And I was just like, I cannot afford any of this. and it's just like, no, I told him, like, I didn't yell like that, but I was like, I told him, you know, I'm just looking at all this stuff. I love all this stuff. It's just out of my price range currently. And he is the guy working the Garmin booth, and he goes, I know. It's all so expensive now. Everything's so expensive now. And then he started
just being honest, and
then he just started talking to me and telling me stories about how him and another pro from back in the day, they had worked the booth next to each other, and that guy had went and spent $83,000 on whatever boat was behind them and all this other stuff. And he just started chatting with me. Like I went over. I even told my wife, I'm going to go look at the Garmin booth real quick because nobody's in there and I don't want to talk to anybody because I didn't want him to give me a sales pitch, you know?
Yeah.
And then I go over there and the guy's like, totally get it. You want to talk shit? And he's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like I thought you were going to try to like really, you know, it's not really that expensive. If you put down $5,000 right now. And then you like,
right. And he's like, I get it. You like this stuff. You probably know a decent amount about it. If you want to know more, I'm here, but let's shoot the shit for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, it's basically like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm here to answer questions if you want, and if you have no questions, here's some stories.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. For real.
It was dope.
It was sweet. When I worked electronics at Target, no commission, so I was that sort of salesperson there. Because you didn't get commission. Like, you could get a raise if you had it so much over a long period of time and all this other stuff, but like being that sort of salesman is like, that's the way it works. You're just sitting there. It was funny. He had that joke about the jet propelled.
Oh,
I took it hook, line, and sinker to make the fishing reference.
Yeah.
Like, I totally bought in. You're like, you explained it like
Yeah.
he did to you, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then Tim goes, no.
He's joking. Yeah, because at first, from a distance, they had a trolling motor there on display, and it looked like it was jet powered. Like it looked like a little torpedo jet.
Yeah.
And I walked over, and I was like, "Is that thing jet powered? Like that's crazy." And I got closer, and when I look in the back, there's just a bolt there. So it looked like it was jet powered, but what it was is they just didn't have the prop there. They just didn't.
They took
bring
the
it
prop
with
off the trolling motor.
because you can play around with the remote and stuff. And they don't want the prop spinning and chopping up their, because it's right next to their display that, their black backing, whatever you want to call that. So it looks nice,
Yeah, their display.
But it was cool. Like I got to play with their version of the iPilot, whatever Garmin has. I don't know what they call it. Minn Kota has, it's called the iPilot. And Garmin has their own thing. So you could control everything from the remote control. I was like turning it and turning up the speed and stuff, and you could hear it like spinning.
Oh, you could hear it was running the motor. Like you could hear it doing its thing, but without the prop on. Right.
So that's all it was. But it looked like it was jet powered. And then I had, like right before we left, I had to tell him just kind of like, I came over initially because I thought that thing, I was like, what's going on? Is that a jet powered? And then he yes-anded and was just like, oh, yeah, it's one of those new ones. Everybody's been talking about it, wanted to come over, and Josh is just like, no way.
I totally got in. I got caught in an improv moment, and I bought in. It was great. It was really great because, I mean, that's also why, like, we do the podcast, right? It's just like, you're the fisher and I'm the geek, and I'm just like, this technology booth blows my mind because that's what Garmin is a technology company, a fishing technology company now at this point, it seems like. And I was like, new technology. Like I was all in, dude.
Right. It seemed like they definitely went from like, we're just GPS to like, no, we're going to make really good fish finders, like sonar and everything. Like, it's a crazy world in like their regards, how they shifted such gears. Cause that stuff, that GPS is just a very small part of fishing, but they make trolling motors and everything now. Trolling, the whole shebang, trolling motor, the sonar.
It's like from the prop all the way to the screen. It's all Garmin product. There's no. It's not like they bought. It's not like they teamed up with somebody who makes trolling motors and then added technology to it. I saw it right on the side. It was branded Garmin. I'm like,
and the biggest reason I think that Garmin got into trolling motors is because everybody kind of licensed and like buddies up. Humminbird
and Minn Kota.
Lowrance is with Motor Guide.
Oh, okay.
And then Garmin didn't have anybody to work with, but they wanted to be able to do that iPilot stuff.
They had some technology that they wanted to get out there.
Well, we'll just make our own trolling motor then.
Right. Like they had to. It seems like they were forced into it. I don't want to say latecomer to the game, but like they're a newcomer.
For sure,
So they had to. It's like everybody already did their partnering up. And you do the motors, we do the tech. Yep, cool. Yeah. Partner up, and then here we go. This is also one thing that bothers me being a tech guy is like, this is what's different about fishing, is they have like about the business side of it. It seems like to me, they partner up like that. It's like Mercury. Sweet, you make a good motor, right? We're gonna partner up with you with our boat company. Phoenix Boats always has a Mercury motor on it or whatever. Like,
that's what it seems like a lot.
But in the tech world, dude, I don't like this, and this is like the Amazons of the world and stuff. Yeah, they just buy the other company. Oh yeah, they never partner. Really? Yeah, like Tesla. There's a Tesla plant in Eden Prairie. Yeah. Yeah, because they just bought this little company in a warehouse back in the warehouse district. Yeah. One day I'm driving by and I'm like, that sign wasn't there 2 weeks ago. Right. Because Tesla just bought it. Like, they didn't care. They have endless amounts of money. Yeah. So it's like, they just eat up the little guy. I get it.
And that might happen in fishing because I don't know. I don't know the hierarchy on how the hierarchy might not be the right word, but I don't know. Understand what you mean, though. I don't know what came first. Oh, okay. There's all these companies where there's like the big parent company. Yeah. And then there's this whole umbrella underneath them.
Okay.
And it's like, did they just branch off and make all these different ones, or did they just buy them out as they went and just kept them around? You know?
But at the same time, usually when that happens, they keep them around because, like, Sony is the parent company, but then you have Columbia Pictures and PlayStation, and they're their own separate brands that are still run underneath one big.
Sure.
Tesla buys it, and then it's all
and then it's
like
all
it all
Tesla.
has to go to Elon. You know, it's not that extreme, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Those little companies don't operate independently anymore.
That makes sense. Yeah, because even with fishing, if they buy them out, they still exist. You know,
Right.
Like Rapala owns all that. You know,
It's like
Storm and
and
VMC and all that stuff is them, and
and
like Northland is like Bagley, and like if you go under the umbrella, it's like almost no company is just their company. It's like there's this big parent company and then all these other companies underneath it.
Well, I'm gonna have to look into that now because I like it's something that especially here when because again you walk by the Phoenix booth and there's other, you know, like Mercury's hanging off the back or whatever it might be, and you see that partnership right here, like at the event you really see it. Obviously, when it comes to the pros out there on the water, you see them with the Humminbird off the front and the, you know, and then the Mercury off the back. You see the multiple different sponsors, you know, coming together to help one person out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But when you're in the booth, like when you're down, like in our case, when we were down on the baseball field, you see those booths next to each other, and then the booths intertwined sometimes because Yamaha had their own, Phoenix had their own, but like there were Yamaha engines on the Phoenix boats or whatever you want to say. Like I'm kind of mixing myself up. I know that, but I'm just using it for point. Yeah,
and some of these displays were a little bit confusing too, where you're like, I was looking at some of them going, are these related? You know, do some of these companies really relate? And then the one after I purchased like some apparel, they gave me a coupon for Ace Hardware because I think it was just like the local Ace Hardware had set up the booth. So it was like, I don't think they did have anything related. It just happened to be Ace Hardware sold all these things. And they had them like at a steep discount. So I was like, yes, I'll take this stuff. So
it was cool.
Yeah, it was for sure.
The Queens of Fishing, I think is what it was. There's an all girl fishing booth. That was super cool.
All female.
Yeah. My wife was really into that one. We got a couple things.
They have a really cool.
We got a couple things from them.
Yeah, they have a really cool symbol.
Yeah. Their logo.
Yeah, it was like a crankbait, like a shallow diving crankbait with a crown, and then it was leopard print.
Yeah, leopard print. Yep, white background with a leopard print laid on top of it, kind of.
Yeah, very cool design.
With a bright pink koozie.
Yeah, with the bright pink koozie. Yeah, it was definitely a cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a good booth. Never heard of them before.
No.
So
I mean, why would we?
Right.
You know, I mean, if they were big, it'd be a different story. But we're two men, you know.
Right.
Like, we're not gonna be out there searching the females only club.
right. So it was cool, but it was cool to see like that all women booth at an event that is just so like predominantly male in the like. You can look at the crowds, right, and you can see that that's mostly the case.
Yeah,
the whole field is male, like, you know what I mean. And so it was cool to see them there. Never heard of them, never seen them, and so it was again one of those reasons to go to a live event because you're gonna see stuff you never seen before too.
Yeah.
I bought a couple books for the kids. There was a guy. I've been thinking about it, dude. It's so weird how sometimes, you know, you just like think of stuff and you're like, someone's got to be doing it, right? You don't really find anything on the internet, and then you come to, you know, we went to a B.A.S Master Live, and there's a guy, a local dude, from the area, just selling the illustrated children's books, like well illustrated children's books.
Yeah,
of
legit,
fish.
like hardcover, nice books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a B.A.S one that was still at the printer, so that was too bad. But I pre-ordered it. That's just.
Yep, pretty much.
So,
yeah, again, lots of very, very cool stuff. I've been impressed with everything. Like I knew how the weigh-ins worked, and I don't. It sounded like they were pretty excited to be in the baseball stadium. So I don't think this is a normal thing.
Right.
But I mean, we were in a stadium, so they were basically at the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
And we were able to like sit around it and just all watch like it was a regular sporting event. It was super awesome.
Yeah, because they allowed people on the field, you know, like on home plate and stuff like that. Like people were filling it up, but then there were people like us, and we just went and sat in the stands.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was like watching baseball, but not.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It was just cool.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better spot to do it in. Outdoors, just chilling, and then
And it's right on the river too. Like we were on the river.
oh yeah,
still.
yep, we're right on the river. Almost everything around here is a pretty. I've never been here before. It's a pretty cool town.
It is.
Like almost everything's right on the river,
Yeah.
and the bluffs. Like it's very scenic.
Yep.
So yeah, and good food from what we tried, dude. I looked. I was trying to find something last night to eat.
Yep.
And we ended up going to Pizza Hut, which was a mistake. Don't. The pizza was fine. I just don't support their version of dine in was not your normal dine in. Is weird as hell, but that's what a lot of stuff is going to. I'm not gonna just sit here and shit on them, but I looked through everything. Almost everything is like 4 stars or better. Almost every restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
When you were looking up restaurants last night?
Yeah. Almost
Holy
everything
shit.
around here is like 4 stars or better.
Wow.
Yeah, I was impressed. I
That's-
couldn't. Yeah.
Sweet.
So
I know we had some good lunch at that what was it, Milwaukee
the
Grill?
Milwaukee Burger Company.
Burger Company.
Yeah.
That was a good lunch.
Yeah.
For reals. And back to the booths and being out on the field and stuff like that. The kids had a blast. Like there was Jack Links just giving away jerky, and they were just walking
to
around
everybody.
eating jerky all day.
So many jerkies, and then like your wife didn't even try. Like we weren't trying to like one over them.
Right.
Every time she passed, they're just like, "You want some more? You want
Right.
some more?" And she walks back, and we hadn't seen him for like 5 minutes. She comes back, she just goes, "I got so much jerky."
And right, to even more to the point that we weren't trying to just like get as much free jerky as we could.
Yeah.
My wife was in a very distinct, like bright colored sort of elephant
Yeah, elephant
t-shirt
Yeah.
with a little girl
Yeah,
walking around, like a little
Yeah.
girl in like a matching pink shirt almost.
yeah.
They were very unique people. There was
Yeah.
no way these people working the booth didn't know. They
No.
were just like, jerky. Here's
These
some
are
jerky.
more.
we
more.
have it. And the
Yeah.
kids were just eating jerky all day. There was popcorn, beer, pop, all the
Yeah.
stuff. Like it was a full on.
I mean,
it was so cool.
we're at the baseball stadium, so I don't know if it's always like this, but they
Right.
just open the regular concessions.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
Yeah. So
There weren't as many beer stations around this time. You could see all the baseball beer stations around.
Yeah. And what did that announcer say? That apparently lacrosse has the most bars per capita.
Right. At
And
one point, he said,
at
like,
one
I'm pretty
point-
sure at one point.
He didn't know if it was still, but at one point they had the most bars per capita, I think he said, in the country.
Right. Yeah, that's what he said.
So that's nuts. So if you're
Right.
looking to drink here, and they definitely play into it. Like the burger company that we went to, when you look at the menu for the drinks, they had the beers were like listed. One of them was listed under dank, and then the other one, the listing of the beers was crushable. So it's just like, you looking for like something dank you can just sip on, or are you looking to crush something, bro? You know?
Playing into the college crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, Tim,
Yeah.
we're not gonna wrap yet, but we're not gonna drag this one on. I just wanted to say it again for all our
Yeah.
regular listeners. This isn't gonna be a 2-hour podcast. We're doing a short special from Lacrosse
Yeah.
B.A.S Master live event situation here.
Yep.
And before we wrap up, I want to make sure that we get all the other things that we wanted to talk about, like, because I feel like I've been talking a lot. We're just sitting here shooting the shit about it and trying to like bring people into our experience and try to get people to like, man, if you have the opportunity, you should go to one, because it doesn't even cost money to get into. We just parked in one of the ramps. We parked in one of the car parking spots at the launcher, and we just went and watched launch.
Uh-huh.
We walked right into the baseball stadium where they were having everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's free.
Yeah, dude.
It's free. Like, the only thing, I mean, it cost us money because we have to drive and we had to, get a hotel and all that stuff. But like, that was it. Just like a mini vacation.
Yeah.
And so, okay, the stage. I want to go back to the stage quick,
Yeah.
because there was one guy. This place is, and we've talked about carp, we talk about rough fish quite a bit, and so this guy stood out to me, and I took a note, and I'm pretty sure I got it on memorized because this was the one note that I took. He said that, he's a pro fisherman, and avid angler around the area, and he said that they're working with the governments of the area, federals too, to try to get $46 million to help the carp population in the area.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, oh, shit, dude.
Yeah.
But that is back to the sponsors and stuff like that, right? Like him being a pro is helping that. That has to be, like,
sure.
you know, it was cool to hear someone, not digging on Mike, but to hear someone instead of going like, love, thank my sponsors and all this other, you know, which they have to do. Of course, we talked about how they're important, but it was also cool to hear him like, yeah, the carps are bad. They're almost made it up here. They're just outside. You know, we want to keep this fishery the way it is with largemouth and smallmouth, good fishing. Right. And the carp are messing it up already downstream. We're trying to keep them. We're going to go work on getting some money from the government. And it was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, to give a shout out to be like, you know, basically Bob Barker that shit. You know,
have pets spayed and neutered.
Yeah, you get your chance up there and you're just like, have your pets spayed and neutered. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, that was kind of what he did.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
It was, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we gotta give a shout out. I gotta pull up my Instagram here because his name's hard to read, but we gotta give a shout out to Jay Shakarat. I think that's how you'd say his last name because that's how he's got it pronounced on his Instagram. But his last name is spelled Przekurat. So it's spelled like Przekurat. So I'm sure that's why he has it in there to be like it's Shakarat. I know. It's Shakarat. I think it's probably Polish.
It must be with
we
the
grew up with a lot of Polish people.
We grew up in the area. Yep.
And he's from Wisconsin, so but yeah, locked up the Elite Series Rookie of the Year
here.
So he's the Bass Master Rookie of the Year. What is it? Falcon rods, right?
Is that
the Falcon rods back?
Oh,
I can't talk.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year.
Yes, the back. We tried twice. Cut it, edit it.
We just said we were going to be like live.
Yeah. It's live. Cut it
edit
out.
that part out. Third take. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Back. Oh, no, that's not even what I was talking. But no, you got the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
It was the Falcon Rods Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Bassmaster. Yep. Awesome job there. He's fishing today.
And he's from here. So he sealed the deal in his hometown.
And I think he was in like 12th place. So he's pretty close to making it to Championship Monday.
Yeah, which is new, which is different than usual too.
I think they started a day later. Yeah, a lot of times I think they fish Thursday and Friday, and then Friday and
then Championship Sunday.
Thursday. I said Friday twice. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. Right. And this time they started on Fridays. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Championship Monday.
Yep. Yeah, that was cool that he did. We missed that part, you know, again with the kids and the wives, and thankfully they were running around with it, and we watched some. They were running around with the kids a little bit. We kept watching, but eventually the kids burned out. We had to take off early, so we didn't get to see all of weigh-in, which there was a lot of. I mean, they went down to 47 anglers today.
Right, we cut it down.
Everybody.
Yeah, they cut it down to 47, so they weighed in more than 47.
Everybody's got 2-3 minutes on stage. I mean, do that math.
I guess I wasn't aware that it was like that either. Like, I knew that they talked to people, but I thought, like, some of the people that they sucked, you know? They're like, you got 2 fish? Move along. You know? But they talk to everybody. I suppose they're all pros, and they want to give everybody their same amount of time, even if they didn't have a good day.
Right. And the airtime on with the T-shirts, right?
Yeah,
with their jerseys.
Right. And there are big names that didn't make it through. That's just the nature of the beast. That's how fishing goes, because it's a competition. Like, some yesterday they did have bad days, but sometimes it's not even bad days. Sometimes there's just that many people that have really good days, and you don't make it through, because some days everybody will have 5 fish,
right?
And it's just that some guys were on bigger ones than you were.
Right.
But yesterday there was quite a few people that only weighed in like 3 or 4 fish, and that's not to say that they only caught 3 or 4 fish. There is like a slot limit. If they're too small, they don't get to count them. They don't keep them.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to touch on too before we left. Is so many people were going on stage and saying, if you were watching me, if you would have been watching me, you would have known, like, this guy can catch fish. I mean, I didn't feel like they were making excuses. I felt like they were making props, because even one guy got up there and he's like, you got to feed him something different.
Yeah. That one guy was like, man, if you would have seen me out there, you'd have been like, man, he could catch him, but I only come up here with one fish, and it doesn't look very good. But I just caught like probably 75, but they were all like 13 to 15 inches. So I'm gonna need all you guys to feed them more. You know?
Yeah. He was totally like, this area is full of fish. They just weren't in the slot limit, and everybody was loving fishing this.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was just like, you guys got a really cool fishery up here.
Yes.
And it felt genuine. Like, they weren't just like hamming it up for the crowd, which there was a good crowd.
Yeah, for sure. And I think some of them were hamming it up for the crowds themselves. Like, this is an excellent crowd. You give it a hand for yourself. Right. You know, it's like, all right, dude. You know, like, I get what you're doing, and I get that you're just that's probably who they are too, though.
Yeah.
You know, they're just genuine people. And instead of being like, don't cheer for me, you guys. Right. Like, you're the reason I'm here. You know, probably that kind of mentality.
Yep. I gotcha.
That was, but you can't deny that this is an awesome fishery. Dude, I'm driving down it. Like, every spot we passed, I'm like, oh, I would fish that. I would fish that. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, and then a little bit like, sucks that we're on the Wisconsin side, because you need to have a Wisconsin license to fish this side of the river. Like, if we're fishing from shore.
Yep.
If we cross the river, then we're in Minnesota and we can fish.
Right. Yeah. Because I even asked you when we got here, I was like, "Do you bring anything?" And you're like, "No, we're in Wisconsin." I was like, "Well, I brought one just in case, because if we cross the river, then that's Minnesota."
Yeah.
And you were like,
"Damn it! I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it. All we gotta do is cross the river and we're good."
Right. Turned out we didn't have rain gear and all that stuff prepared for the sort of weather that we were getting anyway, so it wouldn't have been anything crazy.
Yeah.
But man, we're coming up on our 45. We're over our 45-minute mark. Hopefully that intro worked out.
Yeah, hopefully.
Still wanted to get the music in there for you guys. Keep that traditional, you know, like, I want to keep it somewhat consistent.
I was gonna try to do the whole Instagram, like, see if we could stay on beat. You know, do the ding 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 ding, and then all of a sudden I think you hit the button and I didn't want to say, "Are we recording?" So I was waiting, and then you're like, "Hopefully that worked," and I was like, "Yep, that was it. Missed my shot. Shit."
Oh, I don't even think we did a proper intro on this one, so we'll just do a proper outro.
Oh yeah.
I'm Josh LaBaw.
I'm Tim Wagner.
This
and we're about to go swimming.
Yes, we are. Thank you for listening to the Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. In this case, we are in Cheese State? I don't know.
Yeah, the cheese capital. The lady at the beer garden said that they're the beer capital. They're also the cheese capital.
And the brat capital.
And the brat capital.
That's just too much to get into an intro.
They claim a lot of things. We got more lakes than them, so suck it, Packers.
Follow us on Instagram and YouTube and all of that fun stuff. Like and subscribe. Come on, you know how it works already. Yep. This has been our special B.A.S.S Master live edition. In person edition.
We live to tape.
Yeah, we went to a B.A.S S Master event. I hope you guys got the experience laid out there, our experience. But yeah, we're about to go swimming because there's a pool. Yep. And
the wife literally just texted me, was like, "Grab some towels and get down here," with like a smiley face. Like, all right,
I guess it's time to go. That's it. Tim, what are we gonna do about the wait, we're having production problems. Don't cut it, keep it in. We are going live to tape on this one. So
how's it going, friends and family?
Oh, there goes the intro again. That's our outro. Oh, did I stop it? Anyways, thanks everyone for listening. I hope that this didn't go too long for you, because if it did, well, I mean, I hope this wasn't too short for you. And we'll see you next time on the Real AF TV podcast. Hopefully, I'll figure out how to get this thing to close, because my mouse might have just died.
Uh-oh.
Tim, kill some time.
All right, ding 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 ding. Is the outro still playing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope it's not.
Well, shout out to all the B.A.S.S Master Elite Series fishermen that are out here rocking and rolling, putting fish in the boat. It's been fun to watch as well. We've had some overcasts, so they're out there. A lot of them are rocking topwater and stuff. And I don't think there's a funner way to watch people fish, because when you're fishing regular baits and stuff, you get to see that hook set, which is cool, and then eventually you get to see a fish. But when you're fishing topwater, you get to watch that bait actually be worked, and then blam, blow up on it. And Brandon Polnick had that swim bait bite underneath the bridge on day one.
Yeah.
And he was just reeling it, and then that bass, he could see the bass following it, and he's like, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Bam, and it hits it.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I tweeted about that when I saw it. I watched it live. It was so sick,
Yeah.
dude. I loved it. And I'm also glad that you brought that up, because the fishing of the topwaters and stuff like that, and the different bass, and forgot where I was going. What?
The Brandon Polnick swim bait?
Swimming under, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he said white frogs, and we saw like he was just all in on the white frogs. But then you see so many different lures and stuff. It was just something that, again, I know we kind of covered it, but before we wrapped it up, it was something that I was like, I hope they come back, because watching it live on B.A.S.S Master Live, and then being here and experiencing it and getting to see everybody's equipment in real life, it was two totally different experiences that I'm glad I had. Like, I'm glad I got to watch live and see all the different techniques and stuff like that, and know that when this person's taking off and going right and this person's going straight forward, like, they have different. So that guy's probably going to be, fishing topwater. That guy's going out on the bridge, and it was like, it was cool to have that kind of connection. Yeah. It was really fun.
It was cool to see some stuff too, like, that I really never thought about before. Like, the guy was fishing where the lock and dam was. He was up against the wall fishing walk the dog bait. Like, I don't know what it was, what brand it was, but the walk the dog bait is basically just like a long plastic, and it floats right on the surface, and when you pop it, it just kind of swims back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And he was fishing that, like, right along the lock. I mean, that's got to be super deep.
Up against the dam wall, basically. Yeah.
That's got to be super deep right there. And I always assume, like, if you're maybe like a spoon or like a blade bait, so you're kind of like fishing that hole like vertically, because the walls are vertical.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm like, a vertical presentation. He's like, I'm going to fish top water right alongside it. Like, that's cool. Pretty dope. I never even thought about that.
Right.
So, yeah, it's definitely cool to see how they do their thing.
Yeah.
Get some new ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, man. Let's wrap this thing up. We got to go hang out with the kids.
Yep.
Later, Internet.